Stormy, I thought of you because I know you're a TikTok phenom. I see you on there all the time, raining hell on that app. You're an awesome TikTok follow. And I saw the trend was going around of dubbing over the sound of Thanos from the Avengers Endgame movie, where he says, in all my years of conquest, it was never personal. And then with this puny planet, I'm very much going to enjoy this, because that's what I feel heading into this Texas A&M week for Alabama. Is for Nick Saban and his former assistants, it's almost never personal because he's been so high up above these guys. And now for this game, the dismantling that he is going to attempt to do on that field, and have a pretty good shot to do, because Texas A&M offensively just has nothing in the tank. It's going to be, I think, every bit of what we all thought from the Alabama standpoint, because Texas A&M's not built for this.
It's not, and yeah, he's absolutely going to take it out on this A&M squad, and I feel for the kids. But like, what's crazy about that to me is now it's getting to the point where you realize the coaching discrepancy between a guy like Nick Saban and Jimbo Fisher. And even though he comes from the tree, it's just so different because Jimbo got the guys, right? He got the recruits. These are his kids. And you've got the top 10 class after top 10 class, and they're not delivering on the football field. Why is that? And so I don't know. I went from being so excited for this game and it being fiery and competitive to just getting ready for the scorched earth Nick Saban show. And I'm still going to be very excited about it, but for a very different way now.
Yeah, so I was driving on the highway earlier today and saw a fire on the side. I couldn't see where it was coming from, but I just saw the smoke and I almost pulled away to go see. That's going to be this game. You might check as you go by the channel because you're likely going to see the smoldering wreckage on this. With Jimbo too, it's so interesting. I think it also comes down to the quarterback thing for all they've done. And the offensive line's not been spectacular weapons-wise outside of Devon Achane. There's not really a lot there for this team right now. But quarterback-wise, whether it's Max Johnson or Haynes King, whoever they were throwing out there over the course of this, there just hasn't really been a lot there. And you even go back to last year, the Alabama win happened in large part because you got a monster Calzada game and that defense was awesome. And Jimbo Fisher, who gets all this quarterback whisperer credibility, like maybe as we look back at Florida State, a lot more of that credit should be going to Jameis Winston than it originally did.
You are speaking my language, because that was a conversation we actually had on my show earlier today. We were like, maybe it was just Jameis. And granted, we know what we've seen in the NFL has been a little bit different. So I think recency bias of what you see from him, you have a different viewpoint than what he was in college, which was just a tremendous freak of an athlete. And so that is very much so the way that I look back on things now, and like hindsight 2020, when you look at a coach and you don't know these things. But yeah, very much so. Jameis is just a freak.
A freak. I mean, and the rest of that offense, we know that was the offensive version of those Nick Saban teams where every player was drafted in like the top 3 rounds or something like that. And that's what we thought we were going to have with Texas A&M. For me, it's going to be very interesting as this Texas A&M season goes along, what ripple effects this have into the recruiting conversation around them, because everyone had all those rumors and the Nick Saban rumors about the NIL money that supposedly got poured into this class and what this all means. However it is, if you're a Texas A&M booster or donor and you're looking at the contract paid out to Jimbo Fisher and to the resources that have gone into this recruiting class, however you want to couch that, what it looks like going forward, because you put a lot of effort to get very little in the results so far this season.
Well, and like I mentioned with maybe the disparity in coaching too, if you're a kid and you want to go get paid, like in this new version of college football with NIL, and you're going to get $1 million if you go to Texas A&M. Wouldn't you rather take $750K and go to Alabama or go to Ole Miss or go to LSU? And just have a better actual opportunity of growing and becoming an NFL caliber player? Because in the grand scheme of things, you're getting paid no matter what, right? Like, is that significant of a difference if it gets you to the place that you want to go long term?
And I think that's a great point. It's one that came up a lot as I think we reduced way too much of the recruiting conversation to NIL conversation this offseason. You still have to look at what's going to get you ready for Sunday. And for so many of these 4- and 5-star guys, your thought process is I'm on loan for 3 years and trying to make sure I maximize this. It's why the Jordan Addison conversation to me was also a non-starter. It's like, everything good about who was developing you on offense left that program last year, coaching wise and quarterback wise. Why wouldn't you follow a competent developer of offensive talent out to a place that also just happens to be sunny and lie in your pocket? So I'm totally with you on that. That stuff makes a ton of sense.